mediocrity, never winning more than 43 games. You know, last season the organization finally committed to a full overhaul and rebuild.
And the Sixers rebuild really started in earnest during the 2013 draft when they traded away their all-star point guard Drew Holiday to New Orleans for 2 separate first-round picks. A defining move, I think, to strategically weaken the team. Acquiring assets.
76ers have gone 50% from the field, hitting 3 of 6 since the opening tip. And the basket is good. Got it to go through on the contact, so a free throw coming up. A great opportunity for a three-point play. Some changes for Minnesota. Pierce comes in for Jared Sullinger, and it's Heinrich in for Derrick Rose. And then for Philadelphia, Kevin Garnett. He's checked in for Nikola Pekovic. Henderson comes in for Allen. And DJ Augustine subbed in for Brandon Jennings. And you look at last season for the Sixers, yes, they were a losing team, but a losing team with a plan.
Yeah, you know, that's right, Kevin. Coach Brown said that they had 6 NBA players and a bunch of guys fighting for a spot. But as time passes and you see this young talent develop, I think they do have a chance to be pretty special.
Here's Mayo after the Sixers pick up 2. The kick out to Pierce. Lets it go with a 3. That's good. Pierce has got his first bucket of the game, and he's on the board for 3.
How in the world did they let him get that wide open?
Here's Augustine, and the shot falls short this time.
He had a defender draped all over. Not really the best shot there.
Well, not the shot you hope for when it's well contested like that. He's got so much junk in his trunk. He'll find a way to hurt
you. There's 1:26 left in the first quarter of the game. For Minnesota, they've gone 7 of 13, just over 50% from the floor. Some good looks. Shot by Mayo is no good.
And it seems like nothing is falling for him this quarter. He's really out of his rhythm.
Heinrich with the steal. And now the Timberwolves on the break. Here's George. And they cash in right away with the quick shot. George has got 6. The 76ers trail by 4. And the 76ers decide to take their first time out here. Mike Dunleavy, the former number 3 overall pick out of Duke, Steve, back in 2002.
Yeah, he played on that Duke team back in 2001 that won the NCAA championship. Played alongside Williams and Boozer. You know, never really became a star, but a quality player over his 12-year NBA career.
Looking at who's out there now for the Timberwolves. Pachulia, he's checked in for Bogut. Evans comes in for George. And it's Norris Cole in for O.J. Mayo. And again, it's Minnesota.
Everybody on the floor is hot. Incredible stuff here in the early stages.
Tell you what, both teams playing downhill. Who's going to blink first?
And Mike Dunleavy Jr. is the son of a former NBA player and coach, Mike Sr. Actually, I played against Mike Sr. during his days, and Mike Sr., the dad, was a 6'3" point guard. Mike Jr. at 6'9". Because of that exposure to his dad's game, Mike Jr. has always had great ball handling skills even at 6'9".
Seems like they're on their heels every time defensively because the ball continues to go into the post.
Well, if they don't pick up the aggression, things are only going to get worse.
They set the screen. Pachulia kicks to Heinrich. Soft touch off the glass. Heinrich's got 6. Now Augustine, averaging 10 points per contest. 2 on the clock. Both teams have it going here early.
Friday, December 5th, the Houston Rockets go up against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Live from Target Center. Be there.
So far, it's been a closely contested game as we get the second quarter up and going. And let's quickly break down the game we're watching with the Timberwolves, guys.
They've done a nice job on the offensive boards here, guys, and I think that was the difference in that first quarter, really pounding the offensive glass.
Well, they set the tone early with their mindset, their tenacity, and their hustle. I mean, that's the way they've come out, and it's served them well.
Norris Cole is out there with Heinrich. Then there's Evans. Then there's Pachulia. And it's Pierce in at the 3. That's the 5 to begin the second quarter for the Timberwolves. Allen, that's good. Tony Allen. Minnesota in the lead. Well, the Wolves didn't have a hard time scoring against any team. They took it to another level. It seemed always against the East.
Well, every time they played out of conference, it seemed like an up and down wild affair, and they were pretty good in those kind of games.
Outside Jennings. It's Allen on the wing. Guarded by Heinrich. Evans on the double team. Batum dishes to Bynum. And that's out of bounds. Philadelphia will retain possession. Let's bring up the 2K leaderboard to show you the teams leading the league in assists this season. 5th on the list, the 76ers.
And, you know, contrary to what we see from other teams, this team really has no interest in playing selfishly. I mean, their assist numbers show what a cohesive unit they are.
That one goes. Count it. Jennings has got the game tied up here for Philadelphia.
These defenders look overmatched right now, especially inside.
Yeah, you look at the numbers, 10 of the last 12 points have come from close range, so I agree.
Whole new look on the floor for Minnesota. Davis is checked in for Philadelphia. Now here's Rose. He had an 18-point outing in their last game against the Clippers in Los Angeles. Drains the 19-footer. And the Timberwolves lead by 2.
That's really set them apart today, guys, that success from the mid-range.
Well, these are two teams that clearly you've seen the difference in offensive philosophies here.
You know, they haven't been able to open up a big lead, but the rebounds are starting to add up for them. They may be able to pull away a little bit.
Yeah, they've been doing the dirty work inside, Steve, playing a very tough brand of basketball.
Now here's Sullinger. Rose attacking, and that one's good. Now it's a 4-point Timberwolves lead.
Boy, nice work inside. Tough to get that shot over a big defender like that.
No, that takes skill and creativity, Steve, particularly on the release to make sure he doesn't get a hand on it.
Let's check out what Doris Burke has for us.
Well, guys, Kevin Garnett is at the tail end of what has been a Hall of Fame career. Doc Rivers won a title with him in Boston and simply can't say enough. As Coach Doc says, I get very emotional. He's the best teammate, the most unselfish superstar I've ever been around. Every coach should be able to coach KG just once to see what a true team player should be. Kevin, what a compliment.
A guy you love to play with and hate to play against. Doris, thanks. And Davis puts it in.
That's the 3rd bucket in a row from the paint. This defense needs to clog those lanes in the middle much more effectively.
Yeah, and until they do, the problems inside are only going to get worse.
That's good. 8 points for Derrick Rose.
You know, that mid-range jump shot may be an underutilized tool in today's NBA, but it's really serving this team well.
In fact, it very well might be the strongest area of their game offensively.
Now here's Jennings. 12 points his last outing. And it's sent back by Bogut. And he's going up for the alley-oop. And George with the stuff.
Incredible timing on the alley-oop.
He absolutely hammered it down.
And that's the play we're going to remember when this game is all said and done.
Here's Jennings. Paul George making his last shot. And the foul on Derrick Rose. That's foul number 2 for him. And the 76ers with some changes. Dunleavy comes in for Nikola Begic. And DJ Augustine subbed in for Brandon Jennings. Here's Davis. And good. Coming in on the assist by DJ Augustine.
Boy, they are passing the ball very crisply right now.
They sure are. That's 3 straight buckets that have come off of assists. Anthony Davis with a historic second season. His numbers comparable to some of the all-time greats. Highest player efficiency rating ever for a player his age.
Terrific job that time defending at the rim. I mean, it's not an easy task stopping that fella when he's headed to the bucket like that. Good job.
Now here's Batum. He's been patient so far, nothing yet on the scoreboard.
And Davis becoming a go-to scorer in year 2. showing real comfort as an isolation scorer. In other words, having plays called for him where he just goes one-on-one. In fact, among players his age, with his volume of offense, he leads that group as the most efficient scorer in history.
Here's Batum. Paul George making his last shot. Batum passes to Allen. Back to Batum. And the layup's good off the glass. Batum's got his first basket.
Boy, guys, they've shown some great passing on their last few trips down the floor. Excellent.
Yeah, that's 4 straight trips, guys, where their passes have ended up in scores. 4 straight assists. Great team play.
And Anthony Davis, one of only 6 players since 1980 to post a 40-point, 20-rebound, 3-block shot game. I mean, it was amazing. He, in fact, along with Shaq, Steve, the only 2 to do it before the age of 26.
Yeah, and also, you know, those 2, the only players since 1980 to have a streak of 6 games with at least 28 points, 9 rebounds, and 1 block, and I memorized that.
Yeah, right, exactly. Here you go with the analytics again. You can twist those numbers to say anything you want them to.
You like them too, though, don't you, Clint?
I do, but they need to be balanced out, Kevin. You know, I'm not going to go overboard with the analytics.
Whole new look on the floor for Minnesota. Then for the 76ers, Andrew Bynum's checked in for Anthony Davis. Garnett comes in for Nicholas Batum. And it's Henderson for Allen. The shot by Heinrich no good. Looking at the last game for the Minnesota Timberwolves, it was a win against Los Angeles.
Seemed like they hit every big shot they had in that game. Kevin, their offense was clicking, but really clutch in big moments.
That's ideally the way you want it to unfold on the road, Steve. Don't even give the fans a chance to get into the game.
3 on the clock, stolen by Pierce. And now, in transition, it's Heinrich. Here we go. Plenty of daylight on that shot. And the Timberwolves lead by 2.
Great interplay there between those 2 teammates.
This should be the last possession of the quarter if they play it right.
And if their clock management's good, it will be.
Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give them 2 chances at the free throw line here.
Well, you allow them to get right to the rim like that. That's your only option.
Yeah, I think you got to foul them, and free throws are better than a layup.
The 76ers shooting their 4th and 5th shots at the foul line in the game. And the first one drops. He's perfect from the line this time.
Well, you can count on him, can't you? He seems to knock down free throws consistently all game long.
Here's Cole. What a play! Simply drains it in at the buzzer.
Pretty shot without a second to spare.
That can be so demoralizing for the team that gives up a shot like that to close out a quarter.
And a tight game here as we end the first half.
Yes, guys, I'm